And recording has begun. Welcome, Internet, to the Weirdo Watchlist Podcast, the podcast that's slightly off, where we talk about movies and some other movies that are weird. I'm your host, Mikey, and that is the co-host, Sam. How are you doing?
I'm pretty okay. Just burnt the shit out of my hand
Yes.
a few minutes before calling you, so I'm going to be holding this nice cold glass of water with my left hand. Well, that's really scary because I'm a massage therapist now, so I shouldn't really, be burning the shit out of my skin and stuff. But you know what? If anything happens with that career, I can fall back on this podcast and just ride into retirement with this.
Yeah, the podcast that does not earn a single dollar.
Well, we're on our way up.
We're working on it. We're well over a year at this point too. We never even talked about it.
Shit.
Yeah, this podcast is a year old and we did nothing.
I looked through the Weirdo Watchlist today, trying to pick a movie for this week, and there are so many that we've seen. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
we
picked
quite a few.
It's also like a bad habit I have of just watching a movie that happens to be in the watch list, regardless if it's for the podcast or not. So
a lot of good movies on that list.
A lot of good movies on that list, and that's why we get to pick them now.
Yes.
So we can talk about movies we want to watch.
I don't want to tell you until I tell the audience
Perfect.
what the pick is at the end of the episode. But I did, when I picked one, I saw that it was on your watch list on Spotify or on Letterboxd. So I know that you want to see it. So that's good.
That's cool.
Hell yeah.
So let's cut the cheese then. Quit talking about our injuries because I'm doing okay.
Thank God.
Yeah. What have you been watching over the past 2 weeks?
Con Air.
Yeah, you sent me that Snapchat, dude. How fucking was that?
Good. I hadn't snapped you in weeks. What the hell's wrong with us? I had to scroll forever to find you. But yes, Con Air. I had never seen it, so you know what? I threw it on, and yeah, it's a great movie. It's a great movie. Nicolas Cage is definitely playing a very reserved role, but it's pretty great. I loved it.
Yeah, I watched that for the first time this year too, and was just fucking blown away. Loved it. And yeah, Nick Cage with his fucking long hair blowing in the wind. You'd believe he'd been an action hero for years by that point.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's like the most action he's done, aside from that and like The Rock or something like that.
Not the guy, The Rock.
Not the guy, the Michael Bay The Rock. With Sean Connery.
Bay, The Rock.
And who the fuck else is in The Rock? Sean Connery and...
Never seen it. I don't even know if
Harris.
I know anything about it.
It takes place on Alcatraz, but Nick Cage is also in it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We love Nick Cage.
We do love Nick Cage, and we love Con Air.
And speaking of Nick Cage, Letterboxd, for those that don't know, right now, Mikey, I, and our friend Vince are doing a thing where we change our top 4 to a different theme every month, and this theme is favorite Nick Cage movies.
Yeah.
So Con Air is in yours.
Yes.
I
think all 3 of us put National Treasure in.
Did we?
Yeah.
How can you not? It's so good, dude.
It's I don't like if you're talking like top Nick Cage movie and you're not gonna bring up National Treasure, something you've never seen National Treasure at that point.
Right. It's not like it's his best performance, but it's just a solid good time.
It is a fantastic time. It is not just solid. It is fantastic. I rewatched that one recently too, and I just fucking loved every second of it.
I really I don't want to bring politics up on this podcast, but I really want to steal the Declaration of Independence. I think that's my prerogative as a citizen to be able to go in there and do a heist to get it.
Yeah, here, I'll hold the laser pointer at the thermostat they got inside there, and then you snatch it when they're changing it out. You do the dangerous part.
Got it. I don't remember much else of what happens, but I do know that there's that scene where they steal that, and then they go. Do they go to Mount Rushmore, or is that the second one?
That's the second one.
See, I apparently got to rewatch these movies that are in my top 4 Nicolas Cage movies.
The second one is just a-okay.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't live up to how awesome the first one is. It definitely feels like National Treasure again.
What if we did a top 4, but instead of top 4 is bottom 4, most mundane sequels to legendary movies or something.
Just okay, top okay movies.
Yeah, like Anchorman 2, it follows a great movie and it's just a mid sequel.
Yeah, that'd be difficult because then we're just purposely picking movies we don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
And that's our favorite movie for the month.
Yeah. Anyway, what have you been seeing?
What have I been seeing? I have my diary posted up. I started going through Ridley Scott and Tony Scott's movies. Now that Hooptober's done, I finished all my Hooptober movies.
Good.
So now me and my coworker have made 9 more Hooptober lists from years past, because this is year 11. We did year 10 last year, and now we've done years 1 through 9, just on like private lists. Effectively just creating 9 separate watch lists for different horror movies.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna pick apart at that until next year's Hooptober comes around.
Sick.
But in the meantime, I have started going through all of Ridley Scott and Tony Scott's movies.
Yeah, which ones? I don't even know who Tony Scott is. I'm not gonna lie.
He directed Top Gun and the train movie Unstoppable.
You watch Patrick H. Willems on YouTube?
Yeah. If you're going to talk about the train video, I watched that.
It's so good.
It's a good video.
It makes me want to watch quite a few train movies, honestly.
Fucking Unstoppable is awesome.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
Yeah.
So you watched that? How was it? Did you wait? Have you seen that before?
I've seen Unstoppable before, and I think I watched it around the time it came out. So it's 2010. So I'm trying to think. I would have been like 13 or 14 when that shit came out, and I thought that movie was fucking awesome then. It's still awesome now.
Sick.
But I watched his first movie, The Hunger, which is about vampires who are sexy and who get old. And it's nothing like any other Tony Scott movie that he's ever done, because all the rest of his movies are like movies your dad would watch in his living room while just standing in the middle of the living room, hands on his hips.
Those are good movies. Top Gun is one of those movies.
Yeah, again, all really good movies, like Top Gun and Unstoppable, but they are movies your dad would watch on cable.
And you said the one that you just said, what was the other one called?
The Hunger. I think it's on the watch
The Hunger.
List. Yeah.
Okay.
And that one's also really good, but unlike any... It's certainly not like any Tony Scott movie that he's ever made. It's his first movie, and it feels like, just... What is this guy doing directing it? It's really fucking good. But yeah, unlike anything Tony Scott made after that.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then rewatched Alien and Blade Runner. Those were fantastic.
I never understood Blade Runner. Never fully got through it, so...
I think it's been since 2017 since the last time I watched it, so I was due for a rewatch, just so I can really be sure if I do also think the movie is okay, or if it really is as good as the world makes it out to be.
Yeah.
So I found out it really is as good as the world makes it out to be.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I did watch a new movie that came out.
Oh, yeah?
I watched Look Back. Which is a Japanese animated movie based on Tatsuki Fujimoto's one-shot. He wrote Chainsaw Man.
Oh, I saw you log that. Yeah.
I watched that today.
It's a movie?
It's a movie. 1 hour long.
It was good?
It was really fucking good. It's... Yeah, basically about, the whole, process of being an artist and how much it actually is really, boring, but the end result is what matters most, and also hinges on the relationship these two girls build because of their shared passion for drawing comics. Yeah, it's really fucking good.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's an anime movie.
Yeah, it's on Prime Video. They got the distribution rights to it.
Is it new?
Yeah. It came out. I think it dropped on Amazon today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
So yeah, top animated movie of the year for me out of the 3 that I've seen.
Have you seen The Wild Robot?
No.
Probably wouldn't be your top, but what other ones are there? What I'm trying to think of animated movies that we.
Inside Out 2, Despicable Me 4.
Didn't see that.
I don't think anybody saw Despicable Me 4.
A lot of kids, probably. Made the money.
What else? Christ, The Wild Robot, Inside Out 2, Despicable Me 4, Kung Fu Panda 4.
Couldn't finish that one either. What a bummer.
That's really it. Oh, Transformers 1. We talked about that last episode.
Oh, yeah. I watched that. Yeah. Uh,
And then DreamWorks back in January released Orion in the Dark, which is written by Charlie Kaufman.
oh, yeah. I wonder
And
if
that
that's
one,
good.
I saw that back in January. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's got a few good elements. I like some of the story elements. Some of them just don't make any sense. But the character design is fucking ugly.
Really?
It's not a good movie to stare at.
My dad would never stare and stand in a living room at that garbage.
Yeah. Your dad would not approve.
He would say, "I'm gonna go mow the lawn."
I'm gonna sit down and change the channel. But yeah, no, look back, really, really fucking good. Yeah, just brisk, quick, 1 hour.
Love that.
And then you just get fucking emotionally destroyed too by the like several different parts of it.
Oh, good. Oh,
Yeah.
good. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and I know the fucking Academy's gonna ignore it come Oscar season because it's an hour long, and the Academy typically never nominates Japanese animation. They just go like, maybe they'll do one for an animated movie, but that usually goes to like a European.
European.
Stupid Europeans.
Not to be racist or anything, but fucking Europeans.
Hey, if you're American in the living room, what are you in the bathroom? European.
Oh. Yeah.
So I saw you watched
Pretty
the
good.
new Venom movie. Tell me about that.
Oh, yeah, I did. I forgot already. Yeah, it's not as good as the other two, and I didn't like the other two. So, I mean, it wasn't like if you're going to expect a Venom movie, you're getting what you expect, but it's just a lower quality of the three.
Yeah,
really.
I'm not a fan of the first one, but that might change on rewatch. That came out right around the time when I decided to just hate every mainstream blockbuster, I think. Aside from like Blade Runner, 2049 at the time.
Yeah.
So, like, everyone was talking about, like, how enjoyable Venom was, and I was like, no, it fucking is. You guys are fucking idiots.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe I would get, like, more enjoyment out of a rewatch, while still thinking, like, yeah, it's bad, but I'm having fun.
Yeah.
Because that's how I feel about Venom 2, where it's bad, but I'm getting enjoyment a little bit.
I hated the first one when I first saw it because it wasn't even close to a Venom movie that I would have wanted. Like, it wasn't the tone that I would have ever picked. But then, like, now that there's, like, you know, more of them, once there was two, now there's three, looking at it as it is, I still think it's not great, but I don't hate it as much as when I first walked out of there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've seen all three in theaters, I think, so that's saying something. I'm not sure how that happened. I don't know how I went to the third one, but we went, and there's a thing throughout the whole movie, basically Lord of the Rings logic, where Frodo puts on the ring and then the bad guy can see him because he's wearing the ring.
Yeah.
Same thing. You turn into like Venom form, the bad guy can see them, so you don't get much Venom in this movie.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, that's fine. I don't know. It wasn't as bad as I expected, but it's still just so bad. I don't know. There were some fun CGI fights, and like I was probably pretty stoned when I went, so I was like, you know, like, oh, Venom.
I
don't know if there's any Eminem songs, not that I picked out.
No, I think that was
memorable.
Yeah, that was like
first one.
That was a big announcement they made. No Eminem song this time, and then the internet got mad. Venom.
Terrible. Actually, I don't know. That song's okay, but that is a weird choice of Venom.
It really, cringy. I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't like it. Like it originally, because it caters to that like Monster Energy, you know, like
be
it like NASCAR Monster Energy, like brand of white boy.
Yeah.
You know, like the scrawny white guys who think they're hard. Like that, I feel like Eminem's Venom song, and Venom specifically, caters to that niche of white boy.
Yeah.
So like, I think that's like, not like a big reason why I hated it. I still thought it was like bad and just, like I'm watching two like black blobs of goo fight each other. I can't tell what the fuck's happening, and it's just poorly written and stuff.
I can't really remember what happens in the first one too much, but
I know the bad guy Venom is like silver or he's gray.
Is he?
So like when they're like mushing into each other, you can't tell what's happening. And then
Okay,
Venom 2, he changes to a red Venom. So now it's easier to tell what's going on.
That one, so I hated that movie too. I mean, none of them are good, but that one I saw in theaters as well, and that one had a really nice like sound and like the fighting between Carnage and Venom was sick and loud and like pretty impressive. I was kind of glad I saw that one in theaters. I was like really enjoying myself during a couple of those scenes in a pretty mid movie, but yeah, no, the third one I watched on the biggest screen I could find. Not on purpose, but that's just what's near my house, St. Michael. And it was not. I could have streamed it. I could have streamed it, and it would have been just okay watching it one time and being done.
Yeah, I don't think I've made any plans to see it. I haven't made plans to go to a theater for a while. I was gonna go out and see Conclave last week, but I had to like help fix the car, so didn't want to be messing around with that and then just smelling like grease and car.
Yeah.
And going out to catch a movie. So I'll catch that when it's on streaming, but I am planning on going to the Trilon on Saturday because they're playing Don Hertzfeld's Such a Beautiful Day.
Oh, really?
Followed immediately by his new short film, Me. So I'm excited. I gotta buy a ticket for that still before they sell out.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it since high school, so I'm excited to rewatch it.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool, man. That'll be great.
Yeah. Speaking of other great animated movies, and this is a throwback, right? Going to bring Gore Verbinski back into the conversation.
Thank God. Miss that guy.
Yeah, I haven't talked about him in a minute. But I rewatched Rango last night too after the podcast pick.
How was it?
It's great. I love Rango so much. Gore Verbinski.
Never finished that one either.
Oh my god, it's my favorite Verbinski movie.
I put it on kind of at a time where I wasn't really paying that much attention, so I didn't give it any, benefit. So maybe I'll have to watch it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's great. There's so much like dirt and texture going on with every character. Like it looks like the dirtiest movie or like dirtiest animated movie ever.
Yeah.
And none of the animals none of the sizes make sense. Right? Like, Rango's like a chameleon, but he's the same size as a spider cowboy walking around. Rattlesnake Jake is fucking huge. Which I think, they got giant fucking bats that moles ride on. And, I'm not saying that as, a negative, because I do kind of love it how, it goes for, a sort of photorealistic, but there's still a style to it. In how, none of the proportions of each animal make sense in relation to each other. It's just there to sell, these are, citizens of the western town, and sometimes they're bigger, sometimes they're smaller, for, intimidation effect, I think.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it also just looks everyone's covered in dirt and nobody's showered in a month.
Do the animals shower? Who knows?
I mean, water is currency to these people, so, no, they don't. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I have it on Blu-ray.
I don't have it. I had to fucking pay to watch it. It's kind of annoyed that I thought I would have had it, but...
You had to pay for 2 movies in a row?
No, I have Southland Tales on Blu-ray.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I got the
pay for that shit.
Sorry.
Son of a gun.
I thought it would have been on, Tubi or something, but...
Tubi's always to the rescue,
It's not this week.
Ugh. Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't even look.
Speaking of, do you wanna segue over to talk about our movie?
I do. I want to talk about it.
All right, I'll let you start. How did you feel?
Oh gosh.
Okay.
So the movie Southland Tales.
Southland Tales, directed by Donnie Darko's and Richard Kelly.
And not starring The Rock, but starring Dwayne Johnson. That's a thing that apparently is about this movie. It's the first time he was credited as Dwayne Johnson without The Rock in it. That's what I heard. Anyway, gosh, I'm gonna explain the movie. I'm gonna do it.
Do your best. Do your best.
Okay. So it is at this time a near future 2008. So 2008 hasn't happened yet, right? So it's near future 2008.
Movie was released in 2006.
There was some terrorist shit that happened in America that really started some bad wavelengths, bad war vibes. And then so the first part of this movie is just a bunch of exposition trying to tell you about the world that we're living in. So it's 2008. I keep wanting to say post-apocalyptic, but that's not what it is. Post-war, sort of.
Post 9/11, Texas was hit with a nuke.
Yeah.
So the war on terror has only gotten worse, especially for American citizens.
Right. And so, okay, now I can't even begin to explain so the main character is The Rock, and he's just a guy who doesn't know where he is at first, who he is, right? Does he have amnesia?
He does have amnesia, yeah.
It's okay, so
but sometimes he might not.
I'll just say right here, it's confusing because it doesn't tell you who is. Obviously, there's a twist. There's a big twist-ish thing, so it's a little confusing. Everybody has amnesia, and kind of the viewer has amnesia because of it, because you're like, well, things aren't really adding up. So to explain this movie is a little bit more of a daunting task than I ever want to try to do. I will say that I really enjoyed the movie, and I see why it didn't do well at first. And I also hear that they've changed it up a little bit.
Yeah, there's a Kane cut and there's a theatrical cut, because I think the Kane cut performed way worse somehow.
Well, it sounds like a lot of the exposition was added later, and the Justin Timberlake voiceover shit was added later.
Okay.
So which is huge, because that explains a lot of. Yeah, it tries to explain a lot of shit. I'm not going to try to explain what it explained to me, because I don't fucking know.
It's okay. I'll try. I'll also try to explain it, because the movie, the first chunk, 7-ish minutes before the title card, and mostly throughout the movie is Justin Timberlake narrating the war on terror has only gotten worse. The Bush administration is fucking everything up. We've got big security everywhere. There's a new branch of the government is taking control of the internet to monitor for terrorists. There's the neo-Marxists who are fighting against the government. It's an election year, and California is a swing state. Hillary Clinton's up for election, but they don't talk about that at all. We're instead focusing on the GOP candidates. I don't even remember the names of who they picked, but and now there's a new energy source called liquid karma that comes from the ocean. And The Rock has amnesia, but he's also got a screenplay ready to pitch. Sean William Scott is a soldier, and he's got his twin. And he's also trying to help the neo-Marxists cause chaos and distrust in the GOP. And Sarah Michelle Gellar is a porn star, but she wants to, say, hey, teen horniness is not a crime. I don't want to do anal.
She was the best part of this movie. She's so funny.
It's probably one of the densest movies ever made, because there are so many things that you get hit with so quickly, and none of them make sense on first glance. Even on second glance, you're like, I'm sitting here wondering what the fuck is actually happening.
Yeah, I was. There's a lot of side characters. This reminds me of what I expected Megalopolis to be like.
Yeah.
That's just a lot of this big epic in this sort of futuristic world. I haven't seen Megalopolis.
Big ideas. I do think Southland Tales and Megalopolis are great companion pieces, because Megalopolis is this big ambitious idea from a seasoned 90-year-old auteur director who's made some of the best movies ever made. And then one is also big and ambitious, but it's directed by the guy who made Donnie Darko, and that was it at the time.
Yeah, and honestly, I think watching this now, and obviously the most final cut that there is available, probably helped, because I fucking loved it. I think a lot of it worked. I think a lot of it I was excusing actively excusing like all the exposition at the beginning. I was like this is a lot, but like it's just building this world that I thought was interesting enough. There was enough people. The Elon Musk character played by the inconceivable guy from
Wallace
fucking
Shawn.
Prince.
Wallace
Yeah, it's him. He was great. I loved his character. There's so many good like fully fleshed out characters. Everybody's kind of backstabbing each other a little bit. But it was pure comedy. I mean, there was a lot. It was very, very fucking funny.
Yeah.
The influencers, Amy Poehler and the other guy that she was with, they called themselves like Dream or something. I don't remember, but they were funny as fuck. Kevin Smith was in this movie for a second.
Every time I go to see this movie, right, and I see Kevin Smith is in the cast, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna see him. Where's Kevin Smith? I don't know who fucking Kevin Smith played in this movie. Still, I didn't see him.
I heard him, and then I did is that him? And I was like, it sounds so much like him. And then they showed him a little bit closer. I'm like, that's not him. Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I found out later
I think
it was.
He plays one of the presidential candidates, like over the shoulder friends. You know, he's like standing right behind him.
Yeah, he was only towards the end too, but he seemed to kind of be like a big wig, but kind of behind the scenes big wig.
Oh, was he the guy in the chair? He was like talking.
Yeah, he was the guy.
That was
like,
Kevin
Smith.
Smith.
Yeah, with the long gray beard. Yeah, it was Kevin Smith.
Oh my god. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, fucking.
So he was
shit, dude.
Yeah, he's just. I mean, it's a pretty small role, but definitely was him. But
okay.
I loved it.
Yeah. So the first time I watched this was last year, and I fucking hated it because I thought it was just nonsensical bullshit. Like nothing made fucking sense. The political satire was like so over the top and just deeply unserious. Because again, like one thing that I remember sticking out when I watched it the first time was like the car commercial. You know, they're selling like, we got these cars made like powered by liquid karma, and it's a car that grows a penis and has sex with another car, and that car grows a vagina, and they fuck. And then that's the commercial. And I'm like, okay, I fucking get it. It's the automotive industry, just fucking capitalism. I get it. And in that scene too, like somebody's like over the shoulder guy's like, did I just see a car have sex with another car? And then like I think Wallace Shawn is like, yeah, you did. So I was like,
you did.
Really fucking hated it the first time, but on rewatch, I was able to like let myself be like absorbed by just how fascinating this movie kind of actually is, from like big ambitious ideas standpoint, right? Kind of the same way I felt about Megalopolis.
Yeah.
Where in one, it's also incredibly refreshing to watch like Bush era political satire instead of like Trump era MAGA satire, because like especially like I watched this like yesterday, day after the election. So it felt incredibly refreshing not to see any references to like a MAGA hat or some Donald Trump stand-in taking power, where it is just the war on terror, fighting in the Middle East. The government is, like full military control. We got snipers like watching for any sort of threat. We're taking over the internet, and Amy Poehler, or not even Amy Poehler, someone's trying to stop the government, and their code name is, what is it, like Deep Throat 2?
Mm-hmm.
And so and like there's like so much like crude humor like spliced into for no reason, because again, like Sarah Michelle Gellar's character is a porn star, and she keeps talking about like her revolutionary ideas that teen horniness is not a crime. She's got a whole music video about it. She's got a podcast. It's not a podcast, but it's like a TMZ style like news show. Yeah. Right? Something that would play on MTV. Talking about like, like other porn stars talking about like, that's why I don't do anal. And like other like abortion rights, stuff like that. And it's so many fucking ideas and like stuff like that too, and like Proposition 69. Yep. And like at one point in the narration too, they're like talking about what Proposition 69 is, and it's effectively like a way to prevent this like government body that controls the internet from invading privacy of American citizens, I think.
Yeah.
And so like you'll see a couple of commercials like, I don't give a shit about your right to privacy if it means my freedom is at stake from terrorists. Vote no on Proposition 69. And Justin Timberlake's narration on that is like, Sarah Michelle Gellar only knows 69 as one specific thing, but here in this context, it means this.
Yeah.
So it's just like crude jokes like that spliced in for no reason.
I loved it.
Kind of funny, yeah.
It was a great, like, it feels like a very obvious, like, you know, satire, political, like, also like not a current one, like not of the Bush era, but like more of like a future warning, like what could be if you let the government take too much control, if you let them have too much, you know,
an extension of the Bush administration, effectively.
Yes, in a way.
Like if Obama didn't show up in the picture, or like the war on terror like kept going like worse and worse.
Yeah, but like, I mean, even just the popularity of celebrity and the influencer being such a high political important piece in a weird chess game that every higher up person is playing. I feel like that's very much mimicking in today's reality. I mean, there's so much in this movie that it could be picked and analyzed into being like, hey, it's kind of like almost like what you would do with Idiocracy, right? Like, oh look, they kind of got this right, kind of like you could Elon Musk up the one character, and like totally, I don't know, a lot of things like that. I think it was a fun cautionary tale that got some things kind of right and some things kind of really wrong, and I don't think we've learned much since 2006 is kind of what I'm saying. We haven't learned much.
Yeah.
And it's because this movie flopped. That's why. They should have made this movie better and we could have saved America, but here we are. Southland Tales.
Yeah, my only hope is that Richard Kelly comes back to do a hit piece on the Trump administration before fucking Adam McKay gets back in the seat to do another one.
To do what?
To do another, like, slap at the Trump administration, because he did Don't Look Up. And
that's a
movie I dread watching because I...
Did you not watch it?
No. That movie that movie looks frustrating.
Oh, I love it so much. It's so fucking funny. Very similar to, I mean, okay. No.
I mean, Don't Look Up is
similar
just...
to Southland Tales.
Yeah, like...
but similar comedy styles.
Sure.
And I fucking love it. Jeez, my hand hurts so fucking bad. But yeah, no, I was surprised that I really fucked with this, and I can very much feel the vision, like the Richard Kelly that I know of from Donnie Darko, seeing that probably 5+ times. I can feel the same kind of mysticism in the work.
Yeah,
here.
that's the thing. Like, I do like really love about Richard Kelly, right? He's got his 3 movies. He's more or less had like unchecked, like just blank checks for each of them, right? Donnie Darko about like some sort of like time hole shenanigans. There's a guy in a bunny suit. I haven't seen the movie since high school. I've been meaning to rewatch it.
Yeah.
But it was like one of those movies like when I watched it for the first time, I was like, holy shit! Oh my fucking god! And I feel like Richard Kelly has always been trying to recapture that like that brain fuck, that mind fuck moment of like high concept science, but to Richard Kelly, high concept science involves some sort of interdimensional portal, because in all 3 of his movies have that.
And what's the other movie?
The Box, which is like a woman, I think it's Cameron Diaz, is presented with a box, and if she pushes it, she gets $1 million, but someone dies. Could be anybody. Could be someone she knows. Could be someone she doesn't. And then at some point in that movie, there's a group of people going through an interdimensional portal, and I don't know what the fuck that means.
Sick.
So I feel like like Richard Kelly had been stuck trying to pull that specific bit off again.
It's not a plot hole. There's a fucking portal.
Yeah, and he pulls that shit again in Southland Tales, like towards the end. Like the whole movie is like. Like, The Rock shows up, he's got amnesia, we don't know why. He found in the desert, we don't know why. Same with Sean William Scott, you know, if some things are foggy, you know, he's got his twin. And then, yeah, like 40 minutes left in the movie, right, after being bombarded with Bush-era satire, you know, like, mid-2000s, like, California, MTV, like, liberalism or whatever you want to call it. Like, fighting back against it. And then you're hit with, there is an interdimensional portal that's in the middle of the desert, and you went into it, Dwayne Johnson, that's what Kevin Smith says. You went into it and you came out of it an hour ago. That's your body. Two souls inhabiting the same body at the same time should not mix. And then as that conversation is happening, two Sean William Scotts meet, and that happens. And ends the world, I think. I already forgot how specifically the movie ends. Because it does involve Dwayne Johnson sort of ascending like the resurrection. You know, he's got his Jesus tattoo on his back, and that bleeds through his shirt.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was weird.
Yeah, and I think like Richard Kelly specifically uses the two Sean William Scotts as a way for like Iraq war veteran commentary to be like, you know, like, you did something fucked up, but you can forgive yourself. It wasn't actually your fault. You know, you just pawned the military, you know, like, this is really Bush's fault, Dick Cheney's fault. You can forgive yourself.
Is that what you were reading from that scene?
Yeah, when he's like telling himself that it's okay. He's like, no, it's not okay.
But like he had friendly fired on his own homie.
Again, like, there's so many.
It's so confusing.
Yeah,
so it doesn't really make sense. But that's either did Donnie Darko, and I think we all forgave that. Like, that's like, if everybody were to watch this now and dislike it, I feel like the same jump in logic in Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko doesn't make sense unless you look up some other shit.
Yeah,
it just doesn't, and I don't care what anybody says. I do have a friend. He's actually not even a friend of mine anymore because he's super cringe now. Uh-oh. And this is maybe a perfect red flag that he said that he understood Donnie Darko the first time he watched it, and I said, I don't think you did, because I don't think you understand like the time physics travel shit that you need to understand to like make the twist work, right? Like there's like a whole book that you need to know about, or just watch a YouTube video of somebody explaining it, and then the movie makes a lot more sense, and then it's great. But I don't believe this dude from small town Midwest knew anything about that when he watched Donnie Darko, and the plane just fell apart, and that made sense to you? Shut up, nerd. Fuck you. Anyway, but Donnie Darko is great. I'm not even saying anything bad about it. I just think it makes as much sense as this weird Sean. What's his name? Sean
William Scott.
William Scott. There you go. I mean, him fucking floating on a weird CGI ice cream. So funny looking.
It slowly floats up, so the other guy can shoot a bazooka at the blimp.
So oh god, I had a smile on my face looking at some of those effects, but yeah, it just doesn't need to make full sense. It's just like, yeah, there's a portal.
I think Patrick Willems, bringing him back into the loop, also made a video calling it talking about movies like Tenet and Collateral, where it's just like a vibes movie, where you're not supposed, like one line from Tenet is, don't try to understand it, just feel it. And I don't want to say that's the approach you should take to Southland Tales, because again, the movie throws you so many ideas so quickly, especially in the exposition dumps, right, where it's hard to just not think about any of it.
Right.
I think that movie wants you to think more hard about it, but then sometimes you do just want to be taken aback, flooded with information, and just be fascinated at how somebody could think of this sort of idea. You know,
it's a big story, and apparently there was supposed to be graphic novels that went along with it, and that's why the title cards were 4, 5, 6.
That's right. That's what happened. Oh, I forgot all about that. Yeah, no, I remember watching it for the first time and seeing like they had chapter 4, 5, and 6, and then like that's got to have some stupid explanation later to find out. Yeah, there was supposed to be like a graphic novel series attached to it. And then rewatching it again, I saw chapter 4, 5, and 6 and thought like, maybe chapters 1 through 3 were the Bush administration we already had that happened in real life.
Yeah, it was a real deep
I overthought that part a little bit.
I thought they were about to do some, because I had never seen it. I thought they were about to do some like non-linear shit.
Yeah.
Very much Strange Darling. If you haven't seen that movie yet this year, it's pretty damn good. Anyway, I thought they were going to do that. I'm kind of glad they didn't, because that would have probably made this infinitely more confusing. Props for having Justin Timberlake show up in your movie to do a music video style scene and not have his voice come out of it. Awesome.
Yeah, no, they do it. It's just
the Killers.
It's just the Killers. Yeah, it's not even a full song either.
It rocks.
It is just a music video of him. Again, I think it's all these things that I've done is the song they did. Yeah, and it's just Justin Timberlake drinking beers, flashing his dog tags. There are women all around him, and that scene I still don't understand the context of, because it's like it's an interesting scene, but like he was like selling like liquid karma, because I guess you can use it as a drug too. The new energy source that Wallace Shawn invented.
Yeah.
You can use it as a drug. And there's like so many different versions of it. There's like the green, the blue, and the red really fucks you up. That's like Flatliners shit.
Yeah.
You want to see the other side, take the red one. And he does, and then that scene starts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are we doing? What's going on here?
There was definitely a few times where they would cut away to something. The what is it? The Black Rebel Motorcycle Gang or Motorcycle Club? Do you know that band?
No.
Okay. They're in this movie, and it's like it almost was like a montage to their song. And there's like an announcer that says, "Ladies and gentlemen, the Black Rebel Motorcycle Club," and I'm like, "What is this movie just like?" It's a real band. It's not a fake band. It's like a real rock and roll band who I guess I haven't heard about in quite a while. So I don't know. Maybe this movie killed their career too. But I was like, what a weird that's the plug that's going in here. It's like it was way harsher than just having a Killer song fully in there. It was just, ladies and gentlemen, the name of this band. Like, oh my god, how much did they pay? Or is that part of the idea that everything is monopolized, everything is sponsored by Hustler and shit?
Yeah,
maybe, but it didn't feel that way. It just felt like what a weird choice to really shout out that band.
There's so many other things too where I'm like going through some of the reviews I already liked, and I'm forgetting just like how absurd some of the writing actually is in this movie too, for like characters specifically. Like in the beginning of the movie, again, like we keep talking about Sarah Michelle Gellar because her character is genuinely kind of kind of fun to follow around. Like a real line of dialogue she gives is like, scientists are saying the future is going to be far more futuristic than they originally predicted.
Yeah.
And then there's like the scene when The Rock's like standing on the beach and some woman from the new like government branch. What the fuck is it? Like a U.S. Ident, I think is the name of it.
Yeah, I think something like that.
Something like that. They oversee the internet. So some lady from U.S. Ident shows up on the beach with a gun pointed at The Rock, and The Rock, whenever he gets nervous, does this weird cute little finger thing.
Yeah.
He's like nervous. He's like twiddling his fingers. And like again, real line of dialogue in this movie. The lady just like points the gun like, "If you don't let me suck your dick, I'm going to kill myself."
Yeah.
And then Justin Timberlake shoots her anyway, because again, she's got a gun drawn on the public beach.
Yeah.
And
yeah, there's a key missing to me somewhere, the Justin Timberlake being multiple characters and
I think he's the same
dead friend.
Because like I don't think he's a dead friend. I think it is just like, again, like obvious friendly fire accident, but he made it out, and then Sean Williams felt so guilty, he like ran away, did something, left, cut contact, because like again, like he's still around, he's still like partying, he's selling drugs, he's shooting people on the beach.
Yeah, but like, is that his job? He seemed like a pretty like
I think that is his job. Yeah, just
official. He was kind of a powerful person, sort of. He wasn't like just like a dude in the army anymore. It didn't seem like. I don't know.
Yeah, I think because of the injury, yeah, obviously you get like pulled out of like the front lines, but like
And then thrown on a giant sniper machine gun thing.
yeah, 50 caliber sniper. Which
Yeah,
one nitpick I do have is that's a 50 caliber sniper rifle. Why do they not blow up the people who get shot by it? Why do they not blow up?
That'd be sick.
Have you seen the movie Plane?
No.
That's a fucking great movie too. Great dad movie too. Plane. Gerard Butler. He lands a plane in the middle of like a cartel drug zone, so he has to like help the passengers like survive. And these dudes are getting shot with like 50 caliber rifles, and they're just exploding. It's fucking awesome. I saw that shit.
Yeah.
I saw that shit in the theater. I took my wife to see it. I fucking loved it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's a fucking great, just silly dad movie. Anyway, so yeah, I was like, I really like seeing like knowing that like that's what happens to dudes who get shot with 50 caliber bullets, that they just like explode more or less. I wanted to kind of see that happen in Southland Tales. I mean, it's not an like overly violent movie. It's really just rated R for like swears and sexual content. They're talking about like fucking and doing anal and
Yeah.
Deep Throat 2 being like a serious terrorist organization.
So good.
It's okay. The movie's like fucking insane. Like again, like I really went from hating it, and I thought like there's gonna be no way I could like it, unless I really keep rewatching it and forcing myself to like it. But again, on rewatch, I think I genuinely do love it.
Yeah, good.
I think on like the next rewatch I do, when I make my friends watch it, I might just give it full 10 out of 10 marks.
What if you hate it next time?
That'd be funny too, because again, like I think
never
that's
know
like the best kind of movie is one you can just continuously go back and forth hating to loving. Because I think Vince had that relationship with The Phantom Menace.
Oh, really?
He has seen that movie 20 times in the past, like 8 years I've known the guy. He's seen the movie so many fucking times.
Really?
And he has gone back and forth. I hate this fucking movie. I love it. Right now he's in it. Yeah, right now I think he definitively loves it.
Do you know if he's seen Southland Tales?
No. When I watched it last year, he
hear
read the description and was like, what the fuck is this movie about? And I was like, I couldn't tell you.
You should watch it. Hope he does.
It'd be interesting to hear his thoughts.
So what is your score? So your score was presumably a 1 out of 5 before?
First time around, it was a 1.5 out of 5.
Okay.
Because I appreciate a big swing like this, but at the time I thought it fucking missed. It was a huge whiff.
Yeah.
This time around, I'm bumping it up to a 3.5 out of 5.
Oh yeah.
Going into it when I really felt like I was like, yeah, like actually like, holy shit, do I enjoy this movie now? Thought that like I'd land on something like 2.5, 3 at the highest out of 5. But I think yeah, like I could full bag it 5 out of 5 if given another rewatch.
Fuck yeah. I liked the style of it. I loved the weird editing choices. Sometimes just going to like really shittily like news like you're watching like a desktop.
Yeah, desktop news clips, like fucking
interesting filmmaking
weird
going on here.
Web browser style, like zooming in and out of different clips at the sides. It's
and the car fucking so.
It's a very maximalist movie, and I think like
I loved that style. I loved the style. I thought it was fun. I mean, it's not a perfect movie, and a lot of it doesn't make sense to me. But like,
yeah,
as like in the same vein as Donnie Darko, I think this works. I give it a 3.5 out of 5 as well.
Yeah,
seems like a solid number to give it.
Yeah, there's a film forum I'm on where somebody on the forum watched this movie like a few months ago and absolutely hated it, and I was like, yeah, no, this movie fucking sucks. I think I have to publicly apologize to that person now because I like there's always like a weekly thread of what we all watched in the past week. And when I tell them, like, I rewatched Southland Tales and loved it, I am going to have to apologize to that person. Like, I'm sorry, but I've been converted.
Hell yeah. Maybe they should rewatch it again.
I don't think they're gonna.
Not if it's that recent.
Yeah. But, again, it's a super fucking just interesting movie. Even if you still hate it, it's fascinating. Because, again, of how, like, it's big, ambitious ideas... And just, like, it really is just, again, like a movie you're watching, like, what the fuck is happening? What are we talking about? What do you mean by this? You know, like, again, like, at one point, like, Sean William Scott's character is pretending to be a racist cop, so The Rock films everything he does. And then they just drop the N-word hard R, and then The Rock repeats it. And I forgot about that on rewatch.
There's a lot of clips in this movie that could, out of context, just be awesome. Just like really funny, like the dick sucking thing. Funny as fuck. I'll kill myself right here.
Yeah. If you don't let me suck your dick, I'll kill myself.
A lot of out of context shit is really probably funny out of this movie. And that's the shit that I enjoyed the most. Everything that Sarah Michelle Gellar said was funny as fuck to me.
Yeah, no.
She was the best. Very funny to me. But this is. Glad we watched it. I was not looking forward to it at first, but
I think especially because like last episode I was selling on the fact that I fucking hate this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, like, again, like, watching it for the first time, I was like, yeah, this movie fucking sucks, but I could see myself, like, rewatch number 3 or 4, really, like, finding myself, like, Stockholm Syndromed into loving it. Because there is this cultish, like, approach to it, where a lot of people are on board with it, and a lot of people fucking hate it.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad...
I'm on board.
I'm glad it worked out, because, again, like, especially, like, after the fucking election results, I was really dreading watching this thing. And I was like, fuck it, whatever, I gotta watch it. Who knows what'll happen? And then, I got swept up in it.
Ugh. Oh, well, does it belong on the Weirdo Watchlist to you?
For fucking sure. Like,
yeah.
If you're saying this is one of the best things, like, ever, you've got something going on with you.
Yeah, no, it was great. I'm glad we watched it.
Yeah.
It belongs there. Belongs on that Weirdo Watchlist, proudly.
Yes. So, with that discussion out of the way, what have you picked?
Okay, the movie of the week is Personal Shopper.
Ooh,
2016's Personal Shopper.
Yeah. Personal Shopper with
I almost said Kristen Wiig. Stewart.
Kristen Stewart. Yeah. I have had a copy of this on Criterion for a long time, and I think I've bought the movie 3 separate times, thinking that I didn't already own it.
Well, now you have a chance.
Now
I've seen it.
No, I've never seen it.
All right, there you go. Perfect. Personal Shopper 2016.
It's so you can get it physically on Criterion. Otherwise, it's on Plex, which you just have to fight through ads, I think. Otherwise, it's on the Criterion channel, Mubi, Canopy if you have that. Otherwise, you can rent it for $2-3.
Sweet.
So yeah. All right. Next episode then, Personal Shopper, starring Kristen Stewart. I think it's like, what is it, like a ghost movie or something? Something like close to that?
No idea.
No idea? All right.
No idea.
Cool. All right.
Hell yeah.
I am looking forward to that.
Like, yeah, homie. Me too. I see him this week. I'm going to keep you up to. I'm going to try to see something in theaters this week because it feels like it's time.
I think I'm going to play catch up on all the shit that I've missed in theaters. So, like... Yeah,
hey, Wicked's got to be coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, now that Hooptober's out of the way, I can really focus on 2024 releases that I've missed out on. Maybe stuff you've talked about on the podcast, I can finally give my opinion on.
There we go. Transformers 1.
Not that one. I'm thinking more like in a violent nature, but... Yeah, you've been... I didn't want to say... I didn't want to say anything, but you've been out of focus, like, I think a good 80% of the podcast.
Oh, really?
I was personally going to save it for the description, like... Just like,
That's
Sam's
all right.
out of focus this week, but we're here to talk about movies.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, whatever.
All right. Well, fuck it. All right. Well, yeah. Next week or next time. 2 weeks.
Time. 2 weeks, hopefully, or 3 weeks, depending on, like, who knows what'll happen.
Hell yeah, bro.
We're not consistent.
Mhm.
Least consistent podcast on the internet. All right. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching this episode of the Weirdo Watchlist podcast. Be sure to watch Personal Shopper for the next episode, and we will see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Bye.